All right, sorry it took me so long to get this done, but here it is. And so let me show you the little grasshopper definition. Let's go ahead and turn all this stuff off, right? So basically this guy just makes a curve, right? So it's just grabbing that curve, and then there's a curve in Rhino right here, and I grab that curve by going to set one curve. So that's sort of the top of the curtain. And then this is dividing the curve into two, right? So if I do more or less, it gives me more. We'll leave it low right now. And then this draws vertical, like the little curves. So, vertical lines. I put a negative on there so it makes it go down, right? And then this is kind of where the magic happens. This is a graph mapper, so it goes through and pulls points off of this curve. And what it does is, if I come in and preview this, is it pulls the locations of the numbers on this curve and uses it and reparameterizes it and divides it and puts points on this line, right? So if I change the divisions, the points get closer together, and if I pull it back, they get further apart, right? Because this is controlling the number of divisions. And then this is controlling the sort of ratio, right? So if I come in here and pull this guy further, right, the ratio gets bigger, but the closer I get it to the straight line, the closer they get to even. So if that's a straight line, there's just an even division, right? But if I push it, then it starts to make those divisions, it just does it by two, right? So like if this is one, this would be two, this would be three, whatever. And so that, if we do a panel, right, and we pull that out and look at it, it's just making divisions, right, along between a 0 and a 1 based on how you pull this. So if I pull this, those divisions get larger, and if I they get incrementally closer together at the bottom, further apart at the top, right, versus something like that. All right, so you can kind of play around with that and get the spacing that you want. And then what that does is it spits out into this evaluate length points on the curve. So we push those lines that we made, so these guys, we push those into this evaluate curve or length, and that actually goes in and puts those points along the length of the curve, right? And then what I did was I made this little tiny bead thing. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see right there. Let's see. Let's go ahead. So this little guy right here, I go to shaded, right? I made this little bead looking thing. I don't know if that's what you're going to use, but I made it. And so what I did with that is I set the one B rep and I picked that guy. So now that guy is this guy, right? And maybe I can set this to a different color so it's not green, right? So when I pick it, you'll see, right, that B rep is containered in there. And then I scaled it because I made it too small. But anyway, what you can do then is orient it. So you take the B rep and the scaled B rep. So if I preview that, it's just scaling it and making it bigger, right? And take that scaled B rep, and there's a point that I placed at the bottom right here. So that's the base point basically. And then you can reorient it. And so for the targets, we take all the points, that are the divisions on those lines. And then we take that point and the geometry and say, take that point in the geometry and put it all at these points. So if I preview that and I zoom in, I'm getting these little beads, right, at all of those points. So you can see they're very close right here. So if you want to come and play with it, you can put whatever you want on there and then kind of pull it up. And to change it, right, and get the, let's go ahead and go to perspective here and pull out. And then let's get rid of everything but the reorient. So hide all that stuff. Right. So there's the beads, and then maybe also, I guess you could, you know, pipe the lines, right? If you wanted to have a little thing on them. And so you would come in and adjust either the divisions, right? So if you want to divide it more, it will divide more, right? And make it tighter, right? And then you would also come in and adjust this guy. And again, the closer you keep it to the center, right? So if I push that guy out where the bottom beads are hitting, right, then I get that. So you can adjust sort of the density of it. Again, these are probably not the right size. And then you can come in and, you know, obviously divide the curve by more. So if I went in and, oh, let's pull it up to 10, oops, not length, sorry, I don't want that, but like this guy. So if I came in and divided it, you know, by more, it would put more of those guys in there, okay? And then of course you just bake it, right? So you can come in and bake these guys. So bake them and it'll bake that, and if you, pipe these guys, right? Oh, and it looks like you want to reverse where that point is. So maybe it starts at the top and ends at the bottom. So, because it's sticking it on the top of that thing. So if I come in here and let's take that point and let's move it maybe from there to there. Right now it should be right coming down on top. Right. So I hope that's close to what you want. It looks like this guy needs to be quite a bit bigger. This I think is like 8 feet long, but oh boy, those beads, it's going to crunch your, what you might want to do is actually create it as a surface instead of as a poly surface, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. All right.